Oh, dude, I'm a huge cinnamon roll guy. That's like my thing. Like that's like you that that's my thing right there. Is like cinnamon rolls, donuts. Like I'm a big sweets guy. Like that's my thing. If I can't get it after the event, the next day I'm going out my way to get some cinnamon rolls. My mom is actually a baker, and
Mm.
so the house is covered in sweets all the time. So yes, especially when I'm cutting weight, I can't have them. But you pick up, you learn some things, and I had never. I think it was probably this whole cinnamon roll thing only started probably like a year ago. I like I was like, I'm gonna try to make some homemade cinnamon rolls, and it changed my life. I will tell you, it changed my life. I was like, this is it. This is this is my thing right here, some cinnamon rolls.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It is your friendly neighborhood BJJ podcaster, Rafa Sparza, coming to you with another great installment of the Grappling Hour. I hope you're excited. We got a young, good guest who just beasted his way into the PGF Draft. We'll get to know him in a second, but first, camera back on me. If you enjoy the show, and I hope that you do, I would love it if you check us out at patreon.com/grappling hour. If you go there for just $5 a month, you can see my interviews 30 days before anybody else. And for a few extra dollars, you can see bonus content not available anywhere else, including tape studies where people watch their matches with me or their fights, depending on who they are. And we've had some people from the PGF, from the UFC, major organizations come and do that segment on the show. You can also see a segment called Roast Raf, where people roast my competition footage. And why would you ever do that? Well, sometimes things don't go according to plans, and it's very funny to you, not funny to me, but it's a great segment. You can also check out a Grappling Hour challenge where people are given a card. So a lot of the talent and the interviewees you've seen on the show, they get a card with a submission written on it, and they have 2 minutes to get that submission on me. Now I get to roast them. And you can ask certain folks like Cody Steele, William Tackett, John Combs, Chris Wojcik, how that segment has gone. But those segments only go to the premium users who spend a little bit more money per month. But really, we try to keep it very affordable. We're not trying to, you know what? Here's a plus. Other organizations say their prices go up. Ours has been very consistent since day one. So take that, Paramount Plus, emailing me to let me know my subscription rate is going up. Thanks, UFC, for that. That's fine. Anyway, check us out, patreon.com/grappling hour. You can also get some additional Grappling Hour content if you want to head on over, say, to our YouTube page or social media pages at Grappling Hour. But at YouTube, if you're watching this or anywhere else, like, comment, and subscribe. And if you don't know what you want to comment on right now, we will give you a prompt by the end of this episode. You can count on that. And you can also get you some Grappling Hour merch. Go to rafasparza.com/merch. Get you a hoodie, get you a tank top, get you a t-shirt. And this year, we have decided if you are wearing a tank top and you are on steroids, we will look the other way. If you wear somebody else's merch that's a tank top, we will call USADA on you. It doesn't do much for major things like ADCC, where they're like, oh no, steroids, where? Couldn't possibly see that. No. We're talking as we get into major organizations like the UFC, where you gotta get tested, bro. I think we got to figure out I think it's ONE FC also does test, but it's been very interesting. Why we can't go to the Olympics, folks. Anyway, last but not least, you can also continue the discussions we have here at our Discord. All right, let's get to know our guest. Well, this young man just punched his ticket to the I wish he was punching his ticket to the UFC. That would be dope. To the PGF Draft. And what's very interesting about this is this young man literally is here the Monday after. Normally we give the days, a little bit of a break for the gents who compete in this. We say like, hey, go enjoy yourself. This man, fresh off of winning Saturday, here with us on Monday. Let's get to know him better because, ladies and gentlemen, coming this February 4th, Jayden Groner is going to be part of the PGF Draft. Congratulations, Jayden, and welcome to the show. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Very, very well. So you bring this up while we're in the green room, the little preamble we do before the show, and you're like, hey, man, I don't know if you remember me. And I'm like, I do. And do you know the look on my face when I looked at my phone? I go, is that the kid from Chicago? Oh, shit. So how does it feel right now to have made your way to the PGF, sir?
I mean, it's really exciting. I think it's like such a good platform to kind of get your name out there and just get eyes on you, and it's it's an event that I've always spectated and watched at home. And it's cool that like now my family, friends, and teammates get to watch me be on the event while they're at home and things like that. So it's exciting. No other words than exciting, honestly.
And it is very exciting. And when you watch it at home, it doesn't even fully do it justice. You got like a taste of it because the Philly Phenoms put together this awesome open for everybody to punch their ticket in. But then I started doing the math and I was like, wait, I ran into the kid in Illinois, but you're competing in Philly. So you had to travel out that way. What was the travel like and how long did it take you to get there?
So we ended up flying, luckily. So it was only like I think maybe like a 2-hour flight, but we had no idea there was going to be a snowstorm. So I had a few other, people that I knew competing on the event, and they couldn't even make it to the event because of how bad the snow was.
No.
So we were like a 15-minute drive from our hotel, and it took us like a little over an hour just to get to the event because of how bad the snow was. So that was pretty crazy, actually.
Hold on. You mean to tell me that there are people that you knew who couldn't even make the qualifier just based on the travel alone?
Yeah, I think it was like a 3-hour drive, ended up turning into like an 8-hour drive with the weather. It's terrible.
So, okay, I can't tell if you're a good person or a bad person because you seem to be identifying like, man, that's such a shame. But see, I would say that like, dude, that sucks.
It
Three
does.
less people I got to take down.
I know. That's kind of how I seen it. I was like, it's better for me, The more people that can't make it, it's better for me. So, I can't lie about that.
Oh, well, obviously you face whatever competition's in front of you, but when you very sympathetically start with, man, I'm really sad they couldn't make it. It's a shame their snow tires weren't in order that day. It makes me start thinking, I was like, Jayden, did you do something to these people? I have to ask.
No, I swear I had nothing to do with it. I swear.
All right. Fair enough. We're going to get into your PGF experience here real quick, but here's what I remember. When I came down to visit y'all a while back, we ran into each other very briefly while I was visiting. It's the 10th Planet. Is it 10th Planet Lombard?
Yes.
Okay. So here's what you need to know. My wife, she grew up in Wheaton, Illinois. So for me, even though we always go to her mom's place, I never get the ability to go train because we're always doing some family activities. And this is the one time where I was like, hey, I really want to go train because I have friends out here. And one of the guys who helps me on the show, his name is Brian Peterson. He interviewed you for Subspectrum. And he sat down and he sent me a note and he was like, I interviewed somebody before you did. And I was like, well, that never happens, one. And two, I was like, actually, I think I met him when Brian was there, but Brian left early because he's a quitter. And this guy stayed the whole time. And I'm like, I feel like we all got to talk at the very end. And that's where I was kind of like actually getting to know you. And I go, oh, okay. Like, y'all have a really cool crew there. Everybody was super nice. It was
Oh,
like a
yeah.
traditional, everybody hangs around and was shooting the shit. So that's where I
Mhm.
remembered you from. And
Yeah,
Brian was
it's
trying to
good
brag
vibes.
me because he goes, oh, I knew him before you. Here's somebody you finally don't have in your wheelhouse or didn't interview before I did. And I was like, well, technically, I think I did meet him before you. So take that, Brian. What I want
Yeah,
to
I
know
think
now, though. Oh, go ahead.
I've seen Brian around before, but I think you and me had an official conversation first.
Thank you. And I just want to make sure that this is like the one time he's ever pulled this on me. He never says this. He's never done any of this, but he sent me a clip of the video of you and him. And I think it's to really get at the fact that on the show we do say we're usually everybody's first major interview. And Brian's like, well, technically you're not this time. And I was like, how did I beat the one time you tried to do this to me? Like, it was like somebody shooting at a basket and I just literally lopped it out. It was like, nah, get out of here, bro. That ain't working right now. But, you know, for you, Jayden, you competing at Subspectrum is also very big to me because they're friends of the show. So it shows that, man, you are traveling all over wherever the situation may be. So for you, how much are you finding that you do travel for your jiu-jitsu competitions?
All the time, honestly. Like I would say I compete more out of town than I do in Chicago at this point. Like I'm always traveling, whether it's flying, driving. I think just a few months ago I spent like I was on the East Coast competing, training, traveling. I think it was like on the East Coast for like 3 weekends, basically, just traveling to compete.
Are you upping your miles now? Like, are you getting good frequent flyer moments? Because to me, I'm like, dude, how are you traveling so much? And it just shows how much you're committed to your game.
Honestly, I would say I'm more of a fan of the driving, to be honest, than the flying. Because I think it's like you get to sit in the experience a little bit more versus flying is a little bit quicker and a little more chaotic at times.
Fair, fair. So then let me ask this. What is on the radio? What is on like the speakers? Who's on controlling the aux when you're traveling that much?
Hmm. If my dad lets me, if my dad lets me control the aux, it's me. But usually it's whatever he's playing. Most of the time, it's like a good podcast.
Okay. Okay, fair enough. Is this a source of contention here? Does your dad just not trust you? Does he just get to a point where he's like, hey, man, driver gets to choose? And if so, has there been ever anything that you really wanted to play? Because I remember being a kid, and I remember my dad being like, you can't control the aux. And I was like, but I'm here too. And he's like, right, but I
Yeah,
drive. So if
yeah.
I'm driving, I get this. But has there ever been a moment where you're like, damn, I really wish I could play this song or this album or this podcast for you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's like my dad's one of those guys that if it's a 12-hour drive, he's going to drive as much as he can of it. So that means he's getting the aux for a large amount of the drive. But there's times when like it's a super informative podcast where it's making me sleepy and I'm like, man, we got to put some Chief Keef on or something like just for a little bit, at least a little bit.
You know, that to me is the true negotiation skill builder. Is that I used to coach for a team of speech nerds. So a speech and debate team, just like people compete in sports, a van full of people. I'd be driving these kids and they'd be yelling out all of their stuff. And I go, I don't care what you want. I'm playing what I want to play. And I would actually throw in stuff that I knew they wanted to hear, but I did have hard stops on certain artists or certain things, and I was like, we're not doing that. Like,
Oh yeah.
you can go somewhere else. And I'm glad that I missed the Taylor Swift era of doing this, that I'm so far from removed of being in that world, because I know if they had asked me, there's no way you can get around it now with that wide of selection of people. I'd be like, I can't do it.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
I will drive this as long as I need to, but this just isn't happening. You guys can enjoy it, but my brain needs to stay here. And I'm very thankful for that. So good. I'm glad you were able to fly. I'm glad you were able to make it there. How long has PGF been on your radar, though? You said you've kind of watched from afar, but when they started announcing all these different qualifiers and these different experiences, how far long ago was this something that you really wanted to be a part of?
I think I want to say seeing kind of what it did to Jet Thompson's career, and also what it kind of did to like Chris Wojcik's career. So like when they had like a 185 one and 171, I think that's when I was like, okay, this is an event that I really want to be on.
Okay. Well, you can mention Jet Thompson all you want, but Chris Wojcik, of course you're going to mention one of the most famous Illinois former residents. I thought we were going to get through an Illinois-based discussion without Chris Wojcik, and he found his way in here. Gonna have to send him a note. Okay, so it's on your radar. You know there's this open opportunity. Do you have to do any prep for it, or because you're just competing so much, it's just another weekend to you?
I think a little bit of both, but I think kind of my style when I compete fits better into the PGF because I am very submission based, so I think in the training room the roles are just a little more intense, but I try to make the competition day as normal as possible, to kind of keep a lot of the like anxiety and everything out of competing. Like I do try to just treat it like it's another normal day.
That's fair. All right, let's go match by match. So did you have 5 matches?
Yes, 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do it match by match. What was your very first match like?
So my first match, I actually ended up having a bye in the beginning of the bracket. And my first match, the dude, he had a longer match. He was kind of like a wrestler. And, I'm a guard puller. So I was like, I mean, he can't take me down if I pull. But I ended up trying to go for a K guard entry, and he kind of started to sprawl out. So I got him into full guard, and I got a Kosovo cradle, which was the first one I've ever hit in comp ever. So that was interesting. That was like, I didn't really think the guy was going to tap at first. And then sometimes you kind of got to like look at their face and see if it's hurting. And then you're like, okay, he's going to tap.
Yeah, there are some people at my gym or who I've rolled with over the years who don't tap, and I just spend half of the time as I'm setting up the move just looking at them being like, I know this hurts.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to be your dad here, but are you okay, son? Because I know this isn't great to be a part of. And they'll look at me, and the worst is if I do humanly let go of the move. They're like, I wasn't going to tap. And I go, okay. No, hey, man, this isn't to get into the PGF. This is just us rolling at our gym. And you're super tough. Great job. But I thought I heard you make a noise, so I did let go. So I can only imagine when the adrenaline is high, people are yelling, and that it's a big, big moment to get in there, especially your first match. You're sitting there thinking like, hey, man, I really kind of want you to tap so we can do this. We can keep going on, and I'm really trying to win this thing. Yeah. So if you could do that, that'd be great.
That's in my head. That's exactly what was happening. I was like, I've never hit this sub before. If you tap, thank you. Thank you. Please. Thank you.
Well, it looked like it went that way. So then tell us about your second match, sir.
So my second match, I actually ended up facing someone I've seen compete before, Lucas Jones. He uh he had a very interesting style. He's like super buggy heavy. So I'm like, okay, I gotta be careful. And I ended up pulling on that match, and I started to kind of try to work some false reaps and K guard entries. He was really good though at kind of sitting to his butt and getting his knee line away. Eventually though, I got him into 50-50. I started to work a Woj lock and I ended up passing it to outside Ashi, and then I got an outside heel hook. The thing is, it was actually interesting. Me and Lucas talked after the match. I thought he got his knee line out at one point, and he didn't. And I got a little lucky re-catching the knee line, but I ended up finishing that one with the outside heel hook.
Nice. And of course, you're going to catch a Woj lock because you're from Illinois and you've seen a certain instructional from a certain dude. All good. I just, I need Illinois to define itself without Chris Wojcik is really what I need here, because this dude just finds his way into everything. Woj, if you're watching this, maybe come up with the second move. Take that. All right, let's get into this. So then you found, when you talked with your opponent after, was this, you said that this is somebody you've seen before. How was the conversation afterwards? Because it seemed, if he was telling you all that, you guys were on pretty good terms and you were having a good conversation afterwards.
I think it's hit or miss. And the more you compete, you run into this is like you'll have that competitor that's genuinely interested how you got them, and then you'll have the competitor that's like, oh, I think I could have got out. And they'll straight up tell you that. And I'm like, dude, I'm like, all right, you know. But no, it was a friendly conversation. He was really cool about it after. It was more just like him trying to figure out how it happened and me explaining what I did.
Understood. So let me ask, just qualifying this, because we don't need to name names. This was a good one. But you say it's like 50-50, the split of people doing that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
it's definitely 50-50.
do you have one of the worst examples of that? Because I am in the old category, and we end up literally talking about like, hey man, how are you doing? How's the joints? How are the kids? You good? Like, it's so boring for old people. But when you mention it, I always think like, oh my God, how many people actually go out of their way to tell you, oh yeah, dude, you didn't have that. It was a bad Saturday. I just tapped. You didn't really have it.
Yeah. I've had people straight up tell me right after, like, oh, I wasn't gonna tap to that. I just didn't want to get hurt. I'm like, well, that's why you tapped. So, like, I'm glad you did.
I don't know that people understand. That doesn't save face. You still did the objective of jiu-jitsu, which is not to murder somebody. It's you just want to win, and that's what gives you the win. So them, I don't understand it. It's so funny to me. I will be honest with you. I have never told somebody I've competed against, like, hey man, that was pretty good, but like, I had it. I could have gotten out. I don't know that it would ever cross my mind to say that. So let's ask this, and let's be full honest here. Has there ever been a moment where you didn't win and you did say something and you're like, why did I say this to that person? Because at times our brains don't work functionally right after a match. So has that ever happened on the reverse side to you?
Maybe when I was younger, but as of lately, it's I think if I lose, it's more like an interest of like, okay, how did I lose? And I've came across mainly like nice and fun competitors where like we'll have a discussion about the match after and talk about things, but I think it's been a while since I've like made a comment that I kind of have regretted or anything like that.
You know what? I got one for you. This is one that happened to me. I have the reverse version of your thing, which was there are some tournaments where you are allowed to do an electric chair. Now, you're a 10th Planet kid. I grew up, the very first thing I learned was the electric chair. So it's something I'm decent at, but it's a very random move to be good at. And I had a guy who wasn't tapping to it, and I had it pretty okay. And I get to the end. He beat me by points. Like, I was recognized. I was like, damn, he's a little ahead on points. I got to try and hit the submission. And I saw him gritting through it, and I'm looking at the referee. I'm looking at him, and I go, oh, it's just not happening. Damn. He's just eating it. And I think, this is terrible. So I accept it. I'm like, all right, sucks we lost by points. Is what it is. We walk away, and he's like, damn, dude, you had that. And I go, well, I don't want to know that. Because he's like, what did you hit me with?
Yeah, see, like...
And because he's like, what'd you hit me with? And I'm like, bro, it's an electric chair. You don't know what this is? He's like, nah, man, nobody's ever got that on me. And I go, well, they still haven't, because I can't consider that a win. But especially when he gets like, yeah, man, you had that. I was about to tap. And I go, okay, well, I'm going to leave now, dude. So let's go to the podium. Is what it is. And one of my friends came up to me and they're like, dude, how come he didn't tap, or what happened? It was like, I don't know, man. I guess I didn't have it right. And they go, well, I saw him wincing, and I go, yeah, dude, jiu-jitsu is not shoulda, woulda, coulda. You know, like, I can't sit here and go home and tell my people, like, well, he said he was gonna tap. Like, that doesn't mean anything. So instead, I just had the reverse of him being like, damn, bro, that was really good. And me being like,
I've had that too.
oh,
where like
no.
people will straight up tell you that they didn't tap to something because they didn't know what it is. And I'm like, it doesn't even make you feel good about yourself because you didn't make them tap. Like it wasn't enough to make them tap. It was more like their own ego in their head saying like, I'm not going to tap because I don't know what this is.
Yeah, and I mean, here's the thing, dude. I hate the fact that I am still kind of an instructor brain at my core. So, like, I'm not trying to murder anybody, and especially with fellow olds. I'm like, hey, listen, I'm just glad you're here. I don't want somebody to compete against. If you didn't show up, I wouldn't have anybody to compete against. So I'm usually very happy, and a lot of us all get along. I have people now who talk to you before your rounds and are, like, wanting to ask about your day, and I go, bro, we can do this in 20 minutes. Like,
right after, yeah.
Can we just do the thing first? But because to them, that's very a normal thing to do. I go, sure, dude. How you doing? Cool. What's going on? And I try to be good about it. I'm not the best at it, but I laughed really hard when the first time it happened to one of my students. They were like, Coach, this dude came up to me and he said what he said to you that one time. And I was like, what'd he say? He's like, damn, dude, you had that. And yeah, I was thinking, because I think their arm might have cracked a few times. And I was just like, well, welcome to the club, kid.
Yeah,
that's really dumb honor badge to take, but you can't really take that to the bank. So, all right. I like the fact that you do converse with people after. I do find a lot of the communities very friendly. So that is a very healthy thing. Especially, I feel it happens most from the people who compete the most, where they really are just trying to get new intel. Like, hey, that was really cool. What'd you do? And that sort of conversation happens. So let's talk about your third match then. How does your third match go?
So speaking of Wojlocks, you're going to be a little unhappy about the next two, but this one I ended up facing a guy who I knew was a pretty good leg locker. And so I ended up pulling guard, and I got to kind of a shin bolo position that I've been working a lot on. And I was able to enter 50-50 from there with a pretty deep Wojlock grip. And he was one of those guys that I don't know if it's a common thing with other people who leg lock, where they don't really tap if they feel like they can counter. So his foot is like popping and popping, and then eventually just gives, and that's when he taps. And it was one of those things where I was like, you had to make me that guy. you had to make me that guy today. Like, come on. So Wojlock finished with that one.
Oh,
that
boo, Chris Wojlock. Like, listen, he doesn't make any money off of this, so I can't. So dumb. Anyway, we're gonna start saying Woj is about to get married pretty soon, so maybe we're just saying this is for MJ. Myra, this is for you. We're more fans of you than Wojcik. She just put up a photo of her dog from her family's house. And I was like, who is this? And she's like, it's Franco. It's our little dog. And I was like, Franco's awesome. So that was for Franco. That's what that's for.
That's for
Big
Franco.
congrats. Okay. Can I tell you something before we go to your next match?
Mm-hmm.
I actually think it's good you have that experience of somebody forcing you to be the bad guy. Because I don't know if you've seen enough PGF, but there are instances because the stakes are so high where people don't want to tap. And they do, more often than not, make you that guy. And the last season in particular, we went so far into our reserves and actually the past 2 seasons of people getting injured that part of the reason they got injured is they were like, I'm good. Nah, man. My leg is swollen really bad now. I don't think I'm in next week. So you kind of need that experience as well.
Yeah. And I think that's something too that, like, at least for me, I have a hard time understanding, especially a competition like this where you're competing across weeks. Is like you have to be good for next week. You know, like you like, even if you don't tap, okay, your foot's kind of broken. You know, what's that going to say about your performance, you know, the rest of the event?
It's wild because I think people almost forget about the caliber of the people in the event. So you have a lot of people who compete all the time, and maybe in 3 weeks, you know, nobody ever competes fully healthy, but maybe in 3 weeks, it's like, all right, I'm back. No problem. I'm used to competing with a little bit of a boo-boo. These are more than boo-boos. These are more like, yeah, my leg just doesn't work anymore. I'm going to see if I'm good for tomorrow. We'll find out. We'll see. And then all of a sudden you start hearing rumors about, hey, are they at the injured reserve? Are we doing a free agent right now? Like, what's the status on their stuff? So I have always, and I think you will find that this season, my inclination is, yes, I am a newsman. I do break some news. I do try to know a little bit about everything. But by and large, I just try to treat you guys as humanly as possible because there's so much about the experience that is so insane, or you're getting new fans and they're really into the product. But man, they only look at you as fantasy fodder of, oh, he got my fantasy numbers up. I like him. Oh, he's dead. Well, my fantasy team's going to suck. So I think a lot of that is new to people. So a lot of what we try to do as the support staff is just check on you guys and just legitimately be like, hey, man, I don't want to see you out of this. I want you to have your shot. So you'll find us as the guides, like the adults in the Hunger Games, always checking on you and being like, hey, kid, you good?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, here's a coconut water. Once upon a coconut. It doesn't heal you. It's probably our healthcare here, but Godspeed to you, and we'll see you. Nope, you're dead. Okay, we will not see you next week, but please recover soon. So that's usually our little preamble here. But you getting that experience in, very important, because it is kind of the way you got to treat those matches when you have other assassins out there. So are we at your 4th and final match now?
So,
or do you have
so
I 5?
Yes, 5.
Okay, so we're going to go to your 4th match now.
So the 4th match was honestly the complete opposite of the last one. I ended up kind of same shin bolo type entry into cross ashi, and I ended up just getting an Achilles grip, and the guy was still standing, so I was somewhat belly down, and he ended up just tapping. Like, I kind of barely put any pressure on the Achilles grip, but he ended up tapping super quick. So I was kind of, and going into this match, seeing the dude's first match, he was a really heavy wrestler and a really heavy outside passer. So I knew that getting to his legs would kind of just also be a way to slow him down and control him. But it was like, as soon as I put the bite on his Achilles, he was tapping.
So that it, more than anything, it just kind of caught you a little off guard where you're like, oh,
yeah,
okay, This is
And I think
good.
because of the last match too, it threw me off guard.
Jeez. Yeah,
Like
I'm so
that's the
sorry.
exact opposite.
I Nobody ever thinks of the PTSD of the person murdering other people, of just being like, "Hey man, I'm so sorry. From now on, I have to break everybody's legs because I just can't be sure." You know,
I know.
it's
I
just
know.
what it is. But well, hey, good progress for that dude, because that means, unlike some other people, he's somebody who wants to walk on Monday. So
I know.
he
He's
kind of
he's he's recovered. He's good. He's training.
he's gonna be okay. He gets to train on the Monday. All right. This is your fifth and final match. What is the environment like there? I saw photos of it. I was paying attention a little bit to it. Unfortunately, I had other stuff to do that day, but I was paying attention to the scene. And at one point, I wasn't clear. Did Andrew Cockle do a seminar or talk to people? Because I saw video go up and I was like, wait, he can't possibly enter into this. So it's got to be like a seminar or something. Because
Yeah,
if he's
right
doing that,
after.
it feels like somebody in pro wrestling who's the world champion who enters the Royal Rumble to be like, no, 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 nobody can attack me now. I
It
have the
was like the
challengers.
final boss,
Yeah.
like kind of thing. Yeah.
So what was that? Did that happen before or after your
It
finale?
was it was after. It was like a techno seminar. I don't really know what it was. I wasn't too sure, but I knew he was doing something after. But after I talked to a whole bunch of people, I was starving, and I was like, it is time to eat. It is time to get food.
Understandable. The reason why I put that up is when I was away, normally, I go train, I go do stuff. I had errands to do that day for a buddy's birthday party that my wife and I were putting together. And I saw the Philly Phenoms Instagram live go up. So I'm in between errands and I go, oh, I should see who won. Like, let's see if it's finals. Let's see what it is. And then I see him teaching a seminar and I go, wait, is this before or after? Because sometimes they put something on like an exhibition match that gives you some time to rest.
Mhm.
Any sort of things can happen. And when that happened, I was like, wait, did I already miss it? Did this kid already win? Or who won this thing?
Yeah, it was right
So
after.
for you, let's talk a little bit about that finale match, because right here, right now, describe that room and describe what it feels like to be going into this finals for a very big moment.
So, I would honestly say I've gotten better to where the room doesn't impact me as much. It's very much just me on the mat, kind of against myself. I don't really see the crowd, I don't hear the crowd too much. But going into that match, the guy I had beaten in my last match, he ended up making his way all the way back to face me again. And I knew I could beat this guy, and I think my confidence was just through the roof. Like I knew there was no way I was going to lose this match. And I kind of went to the back, just took some deep breaths, started smiling, felt good, and I was ready to go. Like I knew this was my match to win. Even before the match happened, I knew I was going to make it on to the PGF. So I think just having such high confidence in that match and just kind of being really excited to like just do everything I can in just this 6 minute round.
So how did you end up winning that match?
So the guy, I kind of figured I was gonna have a tougher time entering his legs. Um and that's kind of exactly what happened. He went to turn away and I ended up wrestling up and kind of chasing his back. And I had a body lock for a little bit and I ended up passing to mount, and he was doing a good job trying to kip and not really allow me to hand fight, but I think he just ended up kind of starting to crack down under the pressure a little bit, and I was able to kind of pin his hands down. I was able to work my way up to like a gift wrap and eventually arm triangle him.
Hell yeah. You know what? That's so funny that you initially think about entering and looking for leg locks, and then you end up with an arm triangle. For you, did that mean you kind of had to take some detours on the road, or was that something that you were looking to enter in the legs to maybe off balance him and then find your way to top to get that finish?
So, I think I've kind of ran into it a lot before where I think there's a point, especially when competing, where you need to understand like, hey, it's better for you to try to get on top right now and pass this guy's
Mm.
guard or get on mount. And I think a lot of times with my leg entries, that's what I end up trying to do is, if I feel like I can't get the bite or can't get the entry, my next best bet is trying to get on top. And this dude spun out, and I knew that the way he spun out, he was just going to keep doing this anytime I entered. So I was like, okay, I just need to get control of this guy and keep him down.
Yeah, there's a certain way I like to play for certain people that if I recognize I want to get like an armbar, a mount finish, or attack their back, and I'm like, dude, sometimes out wrestling them can be a pain in the ass. And then you start thinking, you're like, all right, if I'm setting up a 1-2 punch where I'm attacking their legs, sometimes it might send them on the defense, which allows me to pass a little bit easier. Or I usually have different routes that I take. But to get a head and arm triangle off of those means that you really did get into your offensive game very well. Like it means that, okay, cool. You initially were going for the legs. You kind of have an idea that you want to come up and play top, but that mostly after you get there, you can go into classic jiu-jitsu, passing, making sure to contain him, finish out. But for you, the minute you do finish that head and arm triangle, what does it feel like to now realize, oh my God, I am going to go to the PGF draft?
I don't know. It's tough because it's like even during the match, I like knew it was gonna happen. Like I genuinely knew I was like, I'm gonna win this. So it was just like that like burst of energy. I tell everyone all the time, I'm like that feeling of like just like screaming like let's go after like a big match and something big. That's like the best feeling in the world. I don't think there's a better feeling than that. Like that moment of like winning and realizing like you did this, like your work is starting to pay off. It's like I don't know, it's the best feeling. It's kind of tough to explain, but I don't know, it's like all the eyes are on you. Like you proved yourself, in front of everyone. And I think that's
Mm.
the one of the best parts about it.
Good on you, man. That's really cool. And what then becomes exciting for me is we get to see you through this process now. So you get to come February 4th. You go on the draft block. Have you come up with any strategies for how you want to pitch? Now, I get the feeling you're probably going to get reached out to by Egg, and he's been asking people what we used to ask here, which was, sell yourself, pitch yourself. But have you come up with strategies on how you can maximize your dollar?
Uh Honestly, I'm still like kind of fresh off just winning the event, so I'm not like too sure yet. So I definitely have to put more thought into it. But I don't know, man. I really think I can be exciting. I don't think even matches where they don't really go my way, I think I always put on a show and I'm always on the attack. I don't, I can't, I never at points have found myself boring to watch. I think I can prove that I can bring eyes onto the event and people will start searching for my name and, being ready to see my match and things like that.
Okay, let's talk some statistics here because I looked at your total match time and they pointed this out so nicely. How long was your total match time?
I think it was like 4 minutes and 30 seconds, something like that.
I think you're under, and I did this with him too, but Austin, maybe I got to check TV dinners as well. But like everybody here was trying to get under the length of one match at the PGF. So you're well under that. That's a very good selling point. But what I'm trying to figure out here is how do we take this guy? Because to me, you seem like a very nice, reserved. Are you from the Midwest? Is that where you're born and raised?
Yeah.
So you were born in Illinois.
Hmm.
Okay. Good Midwest kid. Sometimes we give you the microphone and we say like, hey, sell yourself. And you might get enveloped. You might get basically overdrawn by some of these big personalities who might say like, hey, I'm going to kill all these guys. And everybody goes, nah, let's give them our draft money. Like we're trying to get you paid here, young man. So if I'm you, let me just give a few hints. You're competing everywhere between ADCC Opens. You're even wearing it. I mean, look at this. This man's already wearing
I
an
literally have
Orlando
an
ADCC t-shirt.
ADCC shirt.
Between that, Subspectrum, doing well in those, thriving in those major competitions. So for you, we just got to figure out what that outside shot is. So what makes you different than everybody else that some team should be aware of? Because you're about to be interviewed by every single team right now. And they're basically trying to sniff out, is this somebody we want on our team? So what is your selling point?
My selling point. I think that's a really good thing to think about. I think for me, it's just I'll go to any length to prove that I'm up here with these guys. I think that, some people can get really confident. Oh, I'm going to come out here and destroy all these guys. Yeah, everybody thinks that. Everyone says that, right? I'm here to prove that you're not that person. I'm here to prove that you're not the guy that you think you are, and you're not just going to come in here and tear up the whole event, right? It's going to be a lot tougher than just being a little overconfident to get through a match with me. I really think I can put my face on the map and kind of show, some of these guys that they have another name to worry about.
Okay. We're getting closer. I feel like that's a little.
I feel it a little better.
What I want you to feel while you're at the draft is that same moment when you know I'm going to win this qualifier. Like I want you to feel that moment when you're at the draft, so that when people are starting to draft you, midway people are bidding for you, you go, oh man, I'm gonna make some money. Like that's the feeling we want to see from you guys, because it's so wild. You're gonna have a brand new experience than other people have ever had. Every PGF, it feels like we do something different. This time, other teams actually have members on their team. This is the first time teams come in with a franchise player or two, and every team as of right now has two. So that means that really you're fighting for one of those three spots on all four different teams, and there's going to be more people there than there are slots. So as a result of that, that's why it's so critical that you figure out your best selling points, you figure out how you gel with teams, and there may be some bidding wars that happen, but sometimes owners don't know what they don't know. So that's why it becomes so important to highlight your story, highlight your attributes that make you different than everybody else. And there's a lot of stuff that you can really find that helps you sell yourself and get there. So more than anything, I want you guys to have a fair shake at it, but I want you guys to get paid. So I'm like, as I'm watching behind the scenes, if you see me wincing and let's say I've got a coffee in my hand and you see me doing this, and be like, that ain't it, Chief. Don't do that. But if you see me doing this, like that means go on. Like,
keep going.
That's good. Yep, that's it. So I'll be over somewhere, and if you ever make eye contact with me, you'll have the best feedback that you can get. Because as I mentioned, speech and debate coach, no big deal. I only helped Illinois State University win a national championship at speech, so your boy knows some stuff. Just
sounds good.
All right. With that in mind, you mentioned that you were so hungry, fat kid at heart here. What are you eating to celebrate? What is a person that just had a goal accomplished go to eat that night and celebrate?
Oh, dude, I'm a huge cinnamon roll guy. That's like my thing. Like that's like that's my thing right there. It's like cinnamon rolls, donuts. Like I'm a big sweets guy. Like that's my thing. If I can't get it after the event, the next day I'm going out my way to get some cinnamon rolls.
Where did you become so addicted to this? Is this stemming from being a kid? Is this just the forbidden fruit that you can't have while you're cutting weight or something? Like, why that?
So my mom is actually a baker, and
Mm.
so the house is covered in sweets all the time. So yes, especially when I'm cutting weight, I can't have them. But you pick up, you learn some things, and I had never. I think it was probably this whole cinnamon roll thing only started probably like a year ago. I like I was like, I'm gonna try to make some homemade cinnamon rolls, and it changed my life. I will tell you, it changed my life. I was like, this is it. This is this is my thing right here. Some cinnamon rolls. Like that's about it. Like I just ever since I made them one time, I was like, this is the way to go.
It is, and God bless you, because you're still young enough to have them. Like I am at a place now where I think the right amount of a cinnamon roll is half of it. Because if I eat
Oh,
the full version of it, I feel like I have made bad choices. And I will pay for it later. I'll be like, oh, dude, I feel so fat now. The real time to cut me off is halfway through this, but I never cut myself off halfway through it. So you mentioned that your mom is a baker. Does that mean that she's usually like going like, hey, I need you to try this? Has that been the way that you've grown up? What does that mean for you in terms of implications?
oh yeah. I mean, like I've definitely kind of grown up, in the kitchen, and yeah, I am the number one taste tester. You know, I enjoy sweets, so I'm gonna think a lot of it's good, but I'm also gonna be brutally honest if I don't. So
Oh,
I've always been the taste tester.
hold up. So you mean to tell me when your mom's like, hey, I need you to try this muffin, this cookie, this something, and you look at it and you go, sorry, mom, that was trash. Have you ever had to tell her, since you were that brutally honest, that something just didn't fit it that day?
Hmm. I think there's ways you can work around it and make it a little nicer. If you I could I think it's more just like this flavor's not it. This isn't the one. But in your head you're like, oh, this is not good. But you rub it off a little bit nicer sometimes.
This is how you can tell this young man is raised in the Midwest. That's about as polite as it's going to get. And let's put it this way. My wife, for a birthday party that we are putting together this weekend, she very sweetly wanted to make a cookie cake. And she was thinking about it. And then she made the cookies. And she's like, I don't have enough time to make a cake out of cookies. I go, babe, it's okay. The cookies look great. And she goes, yeah, they look great, but look at those. And I swear to God, the only way I can describe this one cookie that looked like two cookies that got mashed together. The rest of it was great, but there was one cookie that made itself into two and looked like a Frankenstein cookie. And I go, okay. And she's like, just look at it. I can't give that to him. She goes, so you can have it. And I go, oh, great. You're giving me the ghetto cookie. And you go, you can have that one, but not the good ones because we're giving those to real people. And I go, all right. I go to pick it up and I go, wow, this looks so dumb. It's really good. Okay. That's
See,
fine.
sometimes you hope that happens.
You do, and you
That
never
you
know.
do
Like
hope that
sometimes you're
happens.
literally looking at them and you go, that looks really bad, babe. And
I know.
you're telling me to eat it, which means you're okay with me dying, but that the cookie itself has to still be good. So I lucked out on that one. But she was looking at me like, I don't take any claim for that one, but the rest of the stuff, A plus. And I go, great, can I have one of the real ones? She's like, no, those are for real good company. That's for the birthday party. You don't get shit. And I go, oh, cool. So I'm glad that you've had that. I always think you don't look like you're fat at all, kid. So you're competing all the time. And my wife's doing this, but I compete next week. So she's like, hey, can you test that stuff out? I'm like, I'm so sorry. I have to be a certain weight and I'm trying not to be fat. And she's just like, eat it. And I go, yeah, it's just easier to eat it. I'll just burn it off. So I feel
Sometimes you just
very
have
bad
to.
for the blue belts that I am rolling with tonight because I got to make up for some lost time. And I'm going to be like, I'm so sorry, kids. I got to fuck you up because I need to be on weight. So we
I
got
need
to
to
go
burn
20
these
more minutes.
calories.
Absolutely. Well, with that in mind, I'm glad that you went to celebrate. So you're telling me that you had to race off from the competition scene to go find yourself a Cinnabon.
Yeah, that's what happens. That's usually how it goes. Like this isn't a one-time thing. This is how it goes. This is it's routine by now.
This is important to know because I feel like whoever the team you end up becoming a part of is going to need to know this information. Like, hey, man, this kid had a rough day of competition. He's dying. Someone get him one Cinnabon stat. Let's bring him back to life. Like, it's going to be an important
Oh,
thing. And you only have to make weight once at the PGF.
I know. They might be in the bag with me showing up to the
No.
event. Like
See,
this, you never know.
I feel, first of all, this is a missed opportunity. We need to get you sponsored by these people. We need to find somebody out here that can offset this. Because if you're telling me you have them in the bag, it tells me the addiction is real. Because here's my thought process. If I'm having a Cinnabon and I'm cheating that many calories, I want it hot. But you're telling
Yeah.
me that you have some in bag because the addiction is so necessary that you go, no, get my bag. It's got a Cinnabon in there and bring it to me. I'm dying. Like, that's how deep you have it.
Yeah, I mean, if you might need a little water, it might be a little dry. It's definitely not going to be as good as it was hot, but I mean, you have to do what you have to do. The you got to get the satisfaction. It may not be the best it could be, but you got to settle for what you got.
Sometimes you got to get it done. And I totally, listen, I totally understand it. I totally believe you. Now I know we made the Hunger Games comparison earlier. So if there's ever something that just like a drone that flies and drops you something, I'll be like, drop it on the Cinnabon.
If there's sponsors that like want to drop one of those in for me, it's like I'm that's amazing.
I think we've put some good work into that world. So why don't we do this? Why don't we get now into your origin story? Now, Jayden, how old are you, sir?
19.
You're 19. Oh my God. Okay. I knew you were young. I didn't know exactly how young. Before we get into your origin story, actually, I do have a question because I have 0 tattoos on my body, but I saw on your social media footage of you going to get a tattoo. And this thing looks like it is entailed extensively and that you got a lot of very detailed work here, but it also looks incredibly nerdy. So I need you to detail
Yeah.
what is this tattoo and when did you go get it?
So that's a Toji from Jujutsu Kaisen tattoo. I'm a huge anime guy. So majority of tattoos you see on me are gonna be from anime. I got that when I was either 17 or 18. That was like an early graduation present. So yeah. I was 17 when I got that, and it's actually from an artist in Florida that me and my dad have actually both gone to. And that was my first ever tattoo.
So this begs the question, when you say you and your dad, do you go together? And the fact that you said, no, there's one guy that we have to go to in Florida for this tattoo. And he's the one guy we got to go to. So it sounded like you made a special trip just to do that.
Yeah, so my dad also ended up getting a tattoo by him. I have 2 tattoos by this guy, and we have both done like a tag along trip
Hmm.
to this guy. But yeah, my parents are covered in tattoos. I like part of my life as a kid was like sitting in the shop eating candy or watching something on the phone while they get tattooed.
That's pretty cool. And again, I always tell people this. I'm an admirer of tattoos. I just can never think of anything I want on me permanently. Like
Yeah.
you just know when you like it, but the gym owner of the gym I teach at, he and I share this, which is if we see a good tattoo, we send it to each other and we're like, yo, this is great. We also do the opposite. So there are some major fighters that if I see a tattoo and I'm like, what is this? Like,
Oh
I need
yeah.
you to explain to me the wherewithal to go get a tattoo that looks like that. And he just goes, oh my God. So he'll do the same. He'll send it to me. But for you and your family, when you were a kid and you were growing up, were you staring at your mom and dad being like, I can't wait to get my first tattoo?
Oh yeah. I was trying to go at 16 and they like changed the law to where you had to be 18. So I was like, I'm going to Florida. I was like, you just got to be 16 in Florida. I have been ready. I have definitely been ready.
So was that your first tattoo that you got, or did you get a different one? And like, how many do you have right now? If you're only 19 and you had to wait to 16, 17, it means you've been making up for quality lost time there, sir.
Yeah. So I have, I've gotten three. So I have this one here. Hold up. Let's see. What's the best way to
Mm,
show it? I have the one that you showed, and then I
hmm.
have another one here, and I
Oh,
have
that's cool.
one here as well.
Nice.
So three tattoos.
Okay. But what we really are learning from this is just the beginning of the canvas. It seems like a lot more work is going to be done.
I would be lying if I said I wasn't supposed to get a tattoo in like 2 weeks. So yeah.
No. Okay. 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 Oh, God. Okay. Let me ask this. This will preface the next sort of thing I say. How long do you wait before training after getting a tattoo, young man?
Uh, I mean, dude, I'm definitely not one of those people that go like the next day. I give it like a few days, but I think like I still keep my activity pretty high a couple days after. That's if like the area isn't completely dead. Because when I got that first tattoo, my hand was swollen like a balloon the next day and things like that. But no, I give it like a few days. But I've seen people that get a tattoo and train like a day or two after, and that's
Yeah,
crazy. That's you're asking to get like staff
exactly.
at that point.
So the reason why I ask here is I don't know if you've done the math because I'm trying to figure this out. You said 2 weeks away. It's pretty close to the draft, which is okay if you have a newly minted tattoo. Oh, it looks like
It's like it's right after. I think it's like the week after the draft, or like a little bit after.
okay. I'm doing math. I'm trying to help you out here. Those critical training sessions before you go to the PGF are important. So I hope
I
you are
know.
planning this well. Because I like that you were telling me, like, oh man, I'd be lying if I wasn't going to say I'm getting a tattoo soon. I'm like, wait. It's like
I
two
know.
months. It's not even 2 months. It's a month and a half before the actual season starts. So that takes you out for probably about a week. But now that I know the way you answered, probably about 4 or 5 days, if I've done the
Yeah,
math properly.
like I think I get it on like a Thursday or a Wednesday, and that Monday I'll probably be back. But I also think too, I think you have to keep it covered for like a little bit after. I think you're crazy if you're like having the open tattoo right away. Like you've got to keep that thing covered
I'll say
for
this
a
because
little bit.
nothing was funnier than a guest that was supposed to be on the show. He actually does tattoos, and I saw that he tattooed himself.
Hmm.
And this is the experience you don't get when people do this show and they're local out here to LA. I usually offer to roll with them before we do the interview. So I saw him tattoo himself on a Thursday, and we were scheduled to work on a Sunday. And I'm like, "What are you doing?" Like, bro. And he goes, "No, man, it'll be healed. It'll be good." And I go, dude, this is so dumb. It's telling me we're not going to interview
Yeah.
because there's no way you're going to come roll with that if you did Thursday night and our interview is on Sunday. And I just remembered looking at it and thinking like, hey, bud, could you do that literally any other time? Because you're the one that tattooed yourself, which is a quick way of telling me, yeah, we're not doing this interview. And I'm not trying to make you get more any kind of thing. He's like, no, dude, if I wrap it up, it'll be fine. I go, you do
Mhm.
tattoos.
You should know better. Yeah.
You of all people don't get the excuse of somebody who trains, fights, and also does tattoos. Brother. So anyway, I'm happy we discussed this, but just pick and choose your times wisely, young man. So
Yeah, we like think we the guy we go to only opens his bookings like twice a year. So we had scheduled this like 8 months ago, something crazy like that. So it was like, oh man, we're like, we hope the times don't match up like too close, and then we're like, oh, we just got to do it.
so with that being said, you already know the next thing you're getting then, right?
Yeah.
Okay. The only reason I ask this in terms of before or after the draft is I was trying to figure out if you were coming in, because some people get dressed up, they get really, really fancy for the PGF. They bring attention to their neckline with some necklaces or some like jewelry or something. But for you, I wasn't sure if you were going to show up being like, oh, hey, what's going on, everybody? New fresh ink here
I
on
mean, I
this.
mean the sleeves are going to be rolled up regardless. We got one arm tattooed, so you can't hide it. You can't hide it.
It's very funny to me because if I do get a tattoo, I feel like I'm going to be so obnoxious because I'll just be like, "Oh, just sorry guys, just
Oh, you have
sorry."
to be. That's like part of it. You have to be.
Well,
Have
the
to.
hard part for me is the upkeep. So I'd be like, "Oh
Hmm.
man, now I got to be in shape forever. I can't let this thing get saggy
I
or
know.
look
Yeah.
terrible." So I'm like, "Oh, it's like a commitment to always being in shape." Boo. All right, let's get into your origin story, sir. Where did jiu-jitsu begin for you? If you're only 19 years old, where did you start doing jiu-jitsu? And it was like the first sport that you were playing.
So I started uh, kind of getting introduced to jiu-jitsu when I was around 7, but I think like actually seriously training at a gym, I was 8 years old, and I had done, I'm an only child, so the goal was just how can we keep this kid as busy as possible. So I did every sport. I did soccer, football, basketball, and I had fun, but I was not good. I definitely wasn't good. And me and my dad used to watch UFC, and he started listening to Joe Rogan, found out about 10th Planet, and he was kind of like, all right, we need to put this kid in jiu-jitsu. So I started at a Carlson Gracie gym when I was like 8, and I actually did jiu-jitsu, boxing, and kickboxing there. So I was doing a little bit of everything when I started.
So for you, it's kind of interesting. Did your dad end up training as well, or are you the person that was training?
No, it was me training, but he is like a professional uke. Like I have done so much drilling with my dad throughout the years. Like you know, at home you have a training partner 24/7. So
Well, hold on.
it's great.
Hold on. I like this. This is good bonding. I like that a lot. And clearly, props to your dad because it's working. You beasting these competitions, so he should get this credit too. I'm just curious how you haven't been able to get him in to train because you've been the one pulling him in and be like, "Hey, dad, let me try this on you." Normally, I feel like that's just short of actually training. So, schedules being what they are, all these sorts of things, interest, age levels, all those things matter. But how have you not been able to talk your dad into it?
Uh, he's done it like so. My mom actually does it. So he's done it like
Mm.
a couple times, but I think he's more just like I don't want these random people touching me kind of thing. Like it's definitely more that than anything.
Which, by the way, I kind of get. I
Oh,
do.
I understand. I don't argue with it. I don't blame him. I understand.
Is what it is. And like there are certain people who are very my friends who are germophobic. And when you do explain to them what we do, they're like, how? And I go, you just kind of get over it, dude. And you just try to be
You
as
do.
cleanly
Yeah,
as you can for yourself. And they're like, I just can't get over it. I go, well, then you can't do the sport. It's really what it is.
exactly. Yeah, it's not for you then, you
You're
know.
missing out. I just love the fact that you, as you're growing up, you're listening to Joe Rogan. You have these moments with your dad where you get to bond and talk about fights, and then you start pursuing it. And what's great about that is with your mom doing it a little bit as well and you doing it, you have this support system that's really into saying like, man, we want you to have a great career doing this. We really encourage you. We believe in you. So for you, can you describe your very first jiu-jitsu class experience?
So my very first experience, it was I remember it being like a really small class. Honestly, I think I remember the nerves more than anything. Like, I was like, I don't know if these people are gonna hurt me. I don't know if like I don't know what to expect. It's weird to like take a kid and be like, hey, like you're gonna go fight. Like you're not bouncing a ball around. You're gonna go fight and you're gonna learn how to not get beat up or. So I think it was just a lot of nerves. Honestly, I think I remember we drilled arm bars. That was like my very first class was arm bars.
Arm bars. Okay. So when you're there and it's kind of like this overwhelming experience, was an armbar like the first kind of move that you felt you mastered, if that was the first thing you learned? Because everybody reacts differently. What's like the first move that really spoke to you?
Dude, so I mean I don't know if this is like too much 10th planet terms, but I was hitting dead orchards and competitions for like years. And that's like a double armbar. That was my move as a kid, was just a dead orchard. I would just get everyone in dead orchards.
Hold on. Let me get this straight. You're going to tell the guy who, when he started at 10th Planet and is telling you the first move I hit was the electric chair, you're like, Raf, this might get a little too 10th Planet for us here. I'm like, no, if anybody understands, it's me. But I'm so jealous of you to be in the space of dead orchards. Like, that's the first thing that you're feeling like you're hitting. Do you know how difficult that
Oh,
is?
yeah, it was. And I think that's why I had so much success with it, was because no one knows what you're doing.
Yes,
They're
exactly.
just getting their arms wrapped up, and then they've got two arms they got to worry about tapping.
Well,
It's,
here's why I love that move for a lot of people. When you're first starting, people get hit with it by surprise. Like, what is this? I don't know what this is. But then when you really master it and you get older, it turns into, oh my God, you're hitting me with this move and I hate you because I can't stop it. So, like, those are the two major extremes
yeah.
with it. Because even when somebody's like trying to get me, I know enough to get out of some people's dead orchards. But the moment you realize you're fucked because you're like, damn, they're really good at this and it's hard to get out, it's a very unique move.
Oh, it's super difficult to get out. Once like you like pump the arms and like it's yeah, it's I've gotten put in it rarely, but when I do, I'm like, oh, this is terrible. This is can't believe I was doing this to people. This sucks. Like, oh my gosh.
It is pretty impressive. So I would say for you to learn that so quickly and to do it so proficiently, it is pretty dope.
Yeah, it was fun. It was good.
But for that, I would say a very, very cool thing to learn. So, one thing that we always ask here on the show that is unique to every single person is, when did you fall in love with jiu-jitsu, in terms of when did you fall in love with this sport in a way that you wanted to pursue it as more than just a hobby?
So I think when I was around 9 or 10, I actually went to go watch. I think it was EBI 3 or 4
Mm.
when they had it at like the Odeum. And I like me and my dad spent like a few days in California. I like did a private with Geo, did like went to 10 Planet San Diego, met Boogie, met Eddie. Um, and I got to meet all these people that like I watched on YouTube or watched compete, and it was just a crazy experience. I was like, man, like this is cool. Like these people are, I want to be doing these things that these people are doing. And I think going to see EBI, going to LA, getting the whole like 10th Planet experience, so that I think kickstarted it for me.
It's very funny you mentioned that because I was there covering that event. So, if I recall, you said EBI 3, right?
I think it was 3, maybe 4,
Okay.
maybe 4.
So like the early days of like Gary and Gordon and all that stuff, it was
Yeah.
like really, really prominently done. Man, what a freaking amazing event to like kickstart you off. And credit to your family for knowing like, hey man, we want you to be so immersed in this. We're going to actually plan a big trip and get you a private with, especially, you know, Gio is an OG now, but
Oh yeah.
one of Gio's most prominent times of being a competitor, arguably part of the prime of his competitive career. So
Hmm.
definitely a very good experience for your family to put you a part of. So you felt
Hmm.
like that experience right there was where you kind of said to yourself, all right, I can see myself doing this for real now.
Oh yeah. And I mean, the cool thing is like a lot of those guys remember me to this day. Like
Mm-hmm.
I used to, anytime Nathan Orchard had a seminar like nearby, I would go do it, and like he remembers me because of it. Gio remembers me. Boogie remembers me. Like it's cool. It's like, now I've had Gio coach me at a competition before, and it's crazy because it's like, man, I used to be a little kid that like did a private with you and thought it was the coolest thing ever, and like now you're just chilling, helping coach me. It's crazy.
That is very funny because it also tells me that you and I were at the same building, not knowing each other. And there's no way I could even know that is what is getting you ready to embark on this career. But like my objective that night was always go interview whoever wins. And if somebody shows out, go try to interview them as well. And it was such a different world for jiu-jitsu because I remembered getting press credentialed for these events. Like the first event I really remember like covering for the sport was EBI 2. So when they started going to the Orpheum and they had this location, I remembered saying like, hey, I want to continue doing this. I'd like a press credential. And I remembered always getting blocked at the behind the scenes entrance. They'd be like, hey, you can't come here. And I go, I have a camera. I'm on a press credential list. Yes, I can. And not only can I, but it's the end of the event. And if I don't interview them, nobody is. There's literally nobody else here covering this except for me and two other people. And I remember these door stoppers being so bitchy about it and me being like, I would understand if there's 40 people trying to get behind the scenes and backstage to go interview people, but I have a camera and nobody is going down out of their way to do this. So we had very different objectives at that time. While you're like, man, I'm a kid. This is amazing. Meanwhile, there's me over to the side being like, let me fucking in. I swear to God, I will murder you guys. So we had very different experiences at that time.
Hmm.
And yet, I recently had somebody reach out to me and just say like, hey, man, those interviews that you did with Gary and Gordon, they were like my favorite interviews. And I felt like it was the beginning of something very new. So all these years later, hearing you say those were so formative for you, it's like it worked. It meant that the
Yeah.
vision that Eddie and his team had really did set off a new set of events for people to go out there and do big things. So I'm very happy to hear that that was part of your experience. So I guess the question is, where do we see you in 5 years? Like, what is it that you imagine if you get what you want that is happening in your life in 5 years in the world of jiu-jitsu?
I think it's interesting because I feel like jujitsu now takes people so many different places than it used to. Like I feel like when I was growing up in jujitsu, it was like you had to own a gym to like make a name for yourself or anything like that. And now it's different. Like there's instructionals, Patreon, you don't have to just own a gym. And for me, I don't really see myself as like a gym owner right now, but it's like, I'd love to have instructionals out. I'd love to, just have so much more of a following that, I can sustain this and, make a career out of, myself and, how I see the sport and how I do the sport.
That's awesome. Well, let's get into this, sir. For the PGF, we are excited to have you joining us. You having all these things that kind of stick out, and you getting to tell your story is going to be a huge thing. So I would say more than just the practicing, I would say until February 4th, you definitely want to figure out your pitch, hone it in, and, just be receptive to it, because you have good credentials. You've got some great things that stick out in your story, and just highlight those things as you really get down to it, because this is going to be a really epic year, and I can already tell from the talent involved, it's going to be very, very dicey. So before we even start to circle, are there any matches that you've even looked at from the people who have been mentioned that you're excited to have?
There's matches with people I have already had that, I think would be cool rematches. Giovanni Ortiz is one where he's beaten me once and I've beaten him once. So it'd be cool for me to kind of, break the tie on a bigger stage and bigger event. But I mean, there's so many good guys. Like, I'm excited to have any match with anyone, because I'm kind of in a spot where I don't have anything to lose. I really don't. Like, each match I have is opportunity for me to prove myself. So it's like, I really wouldn't be upset with any of these matches. They're all exciting. They would all be fun to, have and, just test myself. Like, I really have nothing to lose. Like, this is like a great event, and I know I'm going to have so many great matches, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be really fun.
Well, I hope you're also ready for us to roast you. I've been trying to tell everybody this, is that I don't know if you've seen the pre and post shows for the PGF.
I've seen bits and parts. Yeah.
Okay. So you do know that is part of our gig, but I will tell you what I've told everybody else. Our belief system is that you are treated like a member of the family. So it's like, we can make fun of you. The outside people cannot. Like, y'all are our little brothers. So we can roast you. You're our nephews. We can say shit about you guys. I don't stand for other people talking shit about you guys. So I hope that is something that we do lovingly. But, hey, listen, we're definitely going to make some jokes here and there.
Oh, that is fine. That is like the environment that I have. Like I said, I'm an only child, so a lot of the environment I'm around is like that. It is just, you are digging into each other's skin, but nobody else can,
That, again, as long as it is made clear, because, everybody says they got a good sense of humor until
it's about them.
We do the jokes on them, yeah. And I'm like, hey, man, I just want to make sure we're very clear about this, because I've had a lot of people over the years tell us, they're like, oh, dude, there's no joke you could say that, no, it wouldn't affect me. I'm good. And then maybe a week later, hey, bud, I just wanted to ask, why did you guys make this joke? And you go, oh, Jesus. Okay, great. Yeah.
No, you got to be able to laugh at yourself, every now and then.
Good man.
Just accept it.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing you, sir, and it'll be a blast this season to have you joining us. Are you going to live out there this season, or are you going to be going back and forth?
No, the plan would definitely be to live out there for this season. Yeah, that would definitely be the plan for me.
That is very good. So, just my hint to you is, have you ever lived with other people before?
I think when you're traveling places to train, you're gonna stay in a room with more than just one person at times. I've been in fighter houses and stayed at other people's houses, so yeah.
Okay.
I would say I'm used to it by now.
Okay. You'll really get to learn one another is kind of the one thing I'll say. So just make sure to put a name on your cinnamon roll bag, so that way there are no fights inside of the house that happen.
Yeah, that's going in Sharpie. We're gonna make sure that doesn't come off.
Please do, sure. Because I don't want to see footage of you mauling somebody behind the scenes and them being like, hey, somebody's out this week. Who's out? It's an unfortunate cinnamon roll accident, Raf. Well, I guess we'll talk about it on the pre-show then. No getting around that.
That let's hope that doesn't happen. We'll make sure
your lips,
names are on the suites.
God's ears. Hope that's how it happens. Here's what I'm going to do here, sir. I'm going to go ahead and put the camera on you. I would love for you to thank any friends, family members, do any shout outs that you got, and, take care of any sponsors, anybody who makes you the grappler that you are and attributed to this win that you had on Saturday, sir.
So just a big shout out to, all my teammates, my family, my girlfriend. I can't really do it without, you guys and your support and everything. Shout out to Proof Sports Performance for, just making sure I'm always strong, healthy, cardio ready for all these events. And, just my team, 10th Planet Lombard, and, everyone who's a part of that. And, even the places I train that, I maybe don't represent you as a team, but, every teammate I've had for being so friendly and helping me, and, just my family and everyone, like I said, again, my beautiful girlfriend for, being so supportive and, always pushing me to do better and always believe in me. And, I think I've had a good community and a good village around me to kind of support me and help me and push me to, make my dreams come true in my career.
Well, Jen, you seem like a good kid, and I'm happy to see that all those years ago, was it now, year and a half, 2 years ago, when I did go out there to visit, this young kid who happened to be around as I'm telling dumb jokes to all of your friends and family, not only sticks it out, but thrives in a completely different way that I get to see you and then get to interview you on my show. So I really, really appreciated my time when I went to go visit y'all there. Everybody was A+. I loved the roles. I had great experiences talking with you guys. So it's something that if I do get back to Illinois, which I will, the wife's family still lives out there, I definitely will come visit Lombard, but I'm going to see you sooner than that in a few weeks out in Vegas. So I wish you the best, man, and we'll definitely catch up out there. But I wanted to thank you. I'll say bye to you off air, but congratulations again, man. It's a really, really big moment for an incredible organization, and I'm glad you get to be part of it.
Yes, thank you so much, and thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
No problem, my man. All right, I'll say bye to you in a second, but for right now, reminders, you guys, if you enjoy this show, be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Now, we're going to talk about this. I told you I would give you something to comment on if you didn't have something to say a little bit earlier. Here is your prompt. Your prompt is, what is your sweet tooth guilty pleasure? We've learned right now that this young man would basically take out a Cinnabon in probably, I'm going to say 3 minutes. I'm going to make an assumption. Is that about right?
Quicker. Let's say a little quicker.
Well, hold on. What's that?
No mercy when it comes. I could knock out about 2 in about 3 minutes.
Don't do that. That's how diabetes happen. All right, let's make sure we're not. Wait, this kid. Oh my God, 2 in 3 minutes is too much. Okay, he's 19. Raph, he's 19. Don't tell him about diabetes. It'll be a fun surprise for him a little bit later. Okay. Tell us what your sweet tooth guilty pleasure is. We learned what his is. I want to know what yours is. So put that in the comment section. Additionally, you can also check us out, patreon.com/grappling hour. See these interviews, $5, 30 days before everybody else. And for a few extra dollars, see bonus content like Roast Raf, extra content like Grappling Hour Challenge, tape studies, all of those segments you see for our premium users. That is at Grappling Hour on Patreon. Additionally, I'm going to ask you this. If you guys could do us a solid, if you could also do us a solid and get us on a like, comment, and subscribe wherever you're watching, as well as just making sure that you guys also follow us on our Discord to continue the conversations that we have here on the show. Ladies and gents, that's going to do it for us here at the show. Thank you so much for watching. It's been a great day for grappling. We'll see you back on the mats.